Hey everyone, today we're going to take a really quick look at the smallest eGPU that I've ever tested on this channel, and that's the Onexplayer Onexgpu Lite. So for those that aren't familiar with why you'd want this or why you'd even want to consider it, I'll tell you what the purpose is. So this is to connect to your handhelds or other devices. What you're going to get is you're going to get an external graphics that is going to boost the performance whether you're playing directly on the handheld or if you're docking it to a TV. If you're wanting to get a little bit more life out of your current handheld and not buy a new one, this is a great option to at least consider and take a look at. So before we go further, a little bit about this device. This one has the AMD 7600M XT, which is honestly a nice bump from the current handhelds we have. You'll get a good option for, I would say, 1440p gaming. We do get 8 gigabytes of VRAM, which, considering that we're looking at pairing it with a handheld, this should be more than enough to give you a nice jump. And speaking of a nice jump, let's actually take a look at what kind of performance jump we get. I'm going to be using my F1 Pro as the device that's connected. I'll be using USB 4, and I'm also going to use my capture card just for clarity so you can see things a little bit more clearly. First up, we'll take a look at Expedition 33, and we're going to try this at low settings with XeSS to balanced and at 1080p. And for this game, we seem to be at 50 to 55 FPS with these settings. If we're wanting to get a little bit more performance out of this, we're probably going to have to drop down to XeSS balanced. Next, we'll move on to Cyberpunk 2077. We're at 1080p with ultra settings. We have FSR 3 set to auto and frame generation is turned off. With these settings, we seem to be getting a fairly close to 60 FPS experience. If you want to boost the performance further, we're probably going to have to use frame generation. And I would recommend that if you're going to try this at 1440p, definitely try with frame generation. But at 1080p, we boost up to about 100 FPS, which is pretty decent. We don't have ray tracing on, and with an AMD eGPU, I wouldn't recommend it. It's not going to really yield the results that you're hoping for. Next up is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and for this game we're going to try this at 1080p with ultra settings and 100% scale. So we have no upscaling going on right now. With these settings we seem to be at high 40s to low 50s. If you want to get closer to 60 FPS, I would recommend setting an FPS target like 60 and then using the scaling that is default for Ultra, which is I think like 50% to 100%. I just wanted to show you what it looked like at native 1080p. On to Baldur's Gate 3, we're playing at 1080p Ultra settings with no upscaling. With these settings, we seem to be playing somewhere between 50 to 60 FPS, which for this game is pretty common. I find it a little bit hard to push it past 60 FPS. Oftentimes, I wonder if it's maybe a CPU limitation, but with these settings, we are getting close. We could turn on upscaling, but I find in this game, it doesn't really make that big of a difference, maybe like 1 or 2 FPS. So I would rather have the clean image and a slightly lower frame rate. For Spider-Man 2, we're going to try this at 1080p with high settings, FSR 3.1 to quality, and no frame generation. With these settings, we seem to be hovering somewhere in the 40s. It'll occasionally spike to closer to 60, but for the most part, you know, we're sitting in the 40s, maybe 50s. I think this is a good game that's a candidate for frame generation. If we turn on frame generation, we're closer to about 70 FPS when I was testing it. And if you're going to try 1440p, definitely use frame generation to make that a playable experience. For Battlefield 6, we're at 1080p, ultra settings, FSR set to quality, and frame generation is off. This is one of those games where you probably want to keep frame gen off if you can, just helps with any kind of latency. If you're playing single player, should be fine, but I would just suggest not doing that multiplayer. With these settings though, we are sitting at the mid 50s, so we're pretty close to 60 FPS. Not quite there, but I think close enough that you're going to still get a pretty good experience. We could lower the settings slightly if you want to increase that to 60. For God of War, we're looking at ultra settings, 1080p, and we have FSR set to quality. For this game, we seem to be running pretty close to 60 FPS, as has been the theme pretty much through all of these games. You're going to get the highest settings, but you're not going to get quite 60 FPS, and that seems to hold true here as well. You can set the FSR to perhaps balanced or lower the settings for 60 FPS. Now we're going to try out Doom Eternal, and with this game we are at 1080p Ultra Nightmare settings with no upscaling. This game runs great on pretty much every device I've tested. We're getting over 100 FPS with these settings, so you can definitely play this one at 1440p with probably the same settings and still get over 60 FPS, and maybe even try push it to 4K with a little bit of upscaling. Now that you've seen the game performance here with the eGPU, there's definitely a bump over your stock handheld, and this is a very powerful handheld. Now, I showed you on the F1 Pro it connected, but what handhelds are actually compatible with this? Devices that are from some of the Chinese manufacturers like Onexplayer, Ioneo, GPD, those are going to connect fairly well to this. If they have an AMD APU, it's basically plug and play. You plug in your USB 4 and that's it. The graphics drivers are already loaded and you're good to start playing. Now, having said that, this device does not work for every handheld. Like if you have the original ROG Ally, if you have a Steam Deck, or if you have the new ROG Xbox Ally, and specifically the white one, this won't work. If you have the Legion Go, if you have any of the MSI handhelds, or the Ally X or ROG Xbox Ally X, you're going to be totally fine. If you have a device like a Legion Go or possibly the new ROG Xbox Ally X or even the previous Ally X, it's going to take a few steps to actually get this working on those. You have to install the drivers manually, and sometimes it can conflict with the drivers that you already have on your device. I've done videos on how to install this. Some of it is still relevant and some of it has changed. I'm going to link a video down below from Nelly, who goes through how to get this working on your devices like the Legion Go or the Ally X. And take a look at that if you're considering it for one of those. She'll take you through the steps. It's not super complicated, just takes a bit of work the first time. Before you even consider buying this, make sure you do a little bit of research, or if you don't know, ask me in the comments and I'll do my best to help you out and let you know if it's compatible with your device. Now, a little bit more about the eGPU. This thing is tiny. That's its biggest selling feature, like super portable. For me, I have my handheld bag. You've seen it in a number of my videos, my TomTalk bag, tried and true and trusty. What I do is I put my handheld in there, and I'll often put stuff like XR glasses, battery packs, any kind of accessories that I have, sometimes eGPUs. This fits in there perfectly. Like I can slot this in, stick in my handheld, as well as put in the power adapter, and I still have plenty of room. Like I could put a power bank in there and a few other things if I really wanted to. For portability, you're not going to get better than this, but just keep in mind that if you're going to be using it somewhere, you're tied to the wall. Like you have to have power. The other use case that probably doesn't require the portability is using this at your TV. So if you want to dock your handheld to the TV through HDMI or maybe to a monitor with DisplayPort, this is a great option. It's simple. You take a USB-C cord, plug it into the device here, plug it into your handheld. Then all you have to do is plug in your eGPU to your device and maybe pair a controller and you're good to go. You have a nice coach session. The device is tiny, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the best. Now, there are other eGPUs that are more powerful, like the Onexgpu 2, but you can also take a look at another device that has the same chip. This also has the AMD 7600 MXT, and this is the Onexgpu 1. And I believe these two are roughly the same price. So you do get a smaller form factor with the Lite, but what you get with the Onexgpu 1 is a ton of other features. Like, look at how many ports you have. You have an Ethernet port, 2 display ports, 2 HDMI, so you can connect to multiple monitors. You also have your Oculink and your USB-C. But not only that, you also get 2 USB-A ports, and this is the cool part, is you actually have this SSD slot at the bottom. So if you want to put some of your games that are a bit heavier on here, you could just store it directly on the eGPU, and then you don't have to store that on your device itself. You don't have to take up so much space. So if you're not really too concerned about portability, I would honestly recommend checking out this one instead. We really have, honestly, the bare minimum here. Like, it would have gone a long way if they added, let's say, even just 1, maybe 2 USB-A ports, so you could plug in like accessories like a controller or possibly like an external SSD, whatever. That would have gone a long way, but unfortunately we don't have that, and I kind of wish we did. This isn't going to be for everyone. Not everyone's like me where they, want to connect their handheld to a TV and really just get the most out of it. But if you are someone like me, an enthusiast, definitely consider checking this out. And honestly, like if you're looking for just connecting to a TV, like check out the Onexgpu 1 instead, or possibly another one, because like look at how much IO. It's you can't compare it. And this is SSD slot. Like that alone is worth it. Or if honestly portability and lightweight is more important, then this is the one to go for. So yeah, I don't know. I can't really tell you if this is for you or not for you, but I think that for the right person, this is a great offering. You know, I'm happy to see them giving some alternatives so that you can have something with more features or you can have more portability. So if you're interested in checking these out, I'll leave a link in the description. If I can get a discount code, I'll leave one down there. I have to talk to Onexplayer. That's going to wrap it up for this one. And just a reminder, if you're not sure if this is going to be compatible with your device, just leave me a comment and I should be able to help you figure that out pretty quickly. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and thank you for watching.